MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Tonight, we've got one last present under the tree, our final Monday Nighter of the year, between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets. So here are the Chiefs now coming out for their opening drive, as we get a peek at the former Red Raider and 10th pick in the 2017 draft, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, just to make sure I'm clear, you have not voted for NFL MVP yet, correct?
I have not. I always wait till the end. I always wait till the end.
I do the exact same thing, but let's just be honest here. Does he still have a shot? Here we are, week 16.
Yeah.
He's in the race, but is he really there?
Yeah, I think he needs a little help. It's French. Don't you agree?
I agree. I think he needs a lot of help. People have to play poorly down the stretch around him in terms of the other people who are the candidates, and he needs to be absolutely beyond spectacular. I think it's going to be really, really tough. But you know something? Being his team MVP, that's not such a bad thing, is it?
No, and he has been great for this team, no doubt about it. 8 quarters to prove himself. And he takes it all the way down to the 32. And he will finally be taken down at the Jets' 32-yard line.
Well, partner, I have to say they caught him in the right defense there. Nickel set, 5th defensive back on the field, and they love to run against that because now you typically get a bigger blocker on a smaller defender.
Yeah, because those DBs like you, they want the interception. They're not as worried about the running play, right?
Not at all. I still remember being in school, like one of my offensive line teammates used to say, boy, I'd love to come downfield and hit you little people.
Good run there. A gain of 6 there on first.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
Throwing on first down is Mahomes. They complete it to Hill. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. Sets him up nicely. First and goal. It was a pickup of 14. Now it's Mahomes again. To the end zone, but it's incomplete. Hill, the intended receiver once again, but it'll be second and goal. Here are the starters defensively for the Jets. It's a unit that has had all sorts of issues against the pass. Dead last in the NFL, number 32 in the league.
Defending the pass has not been one of their strong suits throughout the season, but they have any hopes of making waves in January, they've got to improve in this area.
Second down and goal. Mahomes complete. The tight end Kelsey. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. Only able to pick up 2, and that leads us to third and goal. So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. And they tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed to.
Meanwhile, on third down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete.
And that's a crusher right there. Had his man open for a first down, threw a fastball when that wasn't necessary. Incomplete pass. One of these quarterbacks going to learn, you don't get extra points for how hard you throw the football.
Well, after marching down the field, only getting 3 there, kind of feels like a win for the defense.
And it does. They'll go to the sideline feeling a lot better that they didn't give up a touchdown after the march against them. But if I were the offense, I wouldn't hang my head over that one. That's a good drive, and 3 points were put on the board.
So now here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. They'll be led out by the 3rd overall selection back in 2018 from USC. It's Sam Darnold.
Just 2 weeks left in the regular season, so not many opportunities left. But I've got to tell you, I think he's had an MVP type of a season, and I just hope that everyone who votes doesn't go to sleep and already have their ballots cast.
I think there are a couple others in the national media who feel that way, too. You and I have been discussing this race since the calendar hit December, as of many other, but I think it's going to take 8 big quarters for him to truly have consideration. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and it'll bring up a second down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
23 yards the pickup there. What did you see there on the defensive side? What allowed that good-sized run?
Well, they were in a cover 2 alignment, which means your 2 safeties are back away from the line of scrimmage. So if you can match up your blocking at the line, at the point of attack, there's usually some room, a big gap between that second level and third, and that's what they were able to exploit.
So now 1st and 10 in Chiefs territory at the 48-yard line. Back to throw, Darnold. It's caught here by Adams. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll make it a 2nd down. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. The first carry for Josh Adams. Working his way for a gain of 7 to the 26.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Come on, baby. Let's see what you got.
Back to the ground, this time with Bell. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. That one a first down pickup of 8. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script, you go through your play calling, you go through all the stuff and establish things, and it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
Darnold from the red zone now. He's got Herndon, his tight end. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Now the first carry for Ty Montgomery. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
I'm coming after you.
Throwing here on 3rd down, Darnold. That's going to be caught by Crowder. It's a Jets touchdown. Jamison Crowder, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Jets have taken the lead.
I do believe we came here to see a game, didn't we? And it looks like he's running what we call routes versus air. You just go out there with your offensive unit and throw the football with no defense. He's 5 for 5 on the opening drive.
He was on his game there for drive number 1, but, well, the thing is now he can't go any higher than that. He was so perfect. Can he do it again later?
Yeah, all he cares about right now is making it 10 for 10, 15 for 15, and he feels like he can get it done.
Here's the Kansas City offense now as they get set to take over. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Jordan Jenkins in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop it.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player. I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
Now here's Mahomes. Well, the two men come together, and it's incomplete. Excellent work defensively, brings up fourth down.
They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
And this punt goes out of bounds, and it'll be marked inside the 40. So we take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC as the Jets come back out on offense. And right now, a lot to like on that screen. They've wrapped up the division, now currently sitting in the coveted number 2 spot. Of course, you'd love number 1, but if you can't have one, number 2 is pretty good.
I agree with you totally, and here's the other part, too. The really good teams, the really confident teams, they're not as worried about being number 1. 2 is fine because they feel like they can go on the road and win against number 1 if they absolutely have to. The big thing, though, is clinching one of those early buys and able to sit and get a little rest as the playoffs begin.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. This is Bell, and he'll go down right around the 47 this time. A gain of just a yard, but it's a first down. The numbers for Bell on the ground in the game last week. 10 carries, 108 for the yardage, and the score, too.
And give him a ton of credit. He's running the ball really well. But I look at those guys up front. That unit is truly playing as just that. Every move that they make, their teammate understands what that move means and what they need to do. And right now, they're starting to grind it out pretty well.
A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. Now on 2nd and 13, Darnold, and this one's incomplete. But prior to that, he had hit his first 6 passes to start the game, so on a nice little run to begin.
It feels like this offense has carried its dress rehearsal into the game. You know, because you do practice it, you do go through it, and in this case, it is clicking exactly like they drew it up.
They'll rifle this one deep right side. Incomplete. Both players were there offensively and defensively, but it falls incomplete.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. Now the Chiefs offense, they get ready to head on the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Looking to throw is Mahomes. And a quick throw here, that's complete. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
From the gun on 3rd down, Mahomes firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. First down for the Chiefs, solid chunk of yardage, 17 on the play. So in Jet territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46. Throwing now is Mahomes. He's going to let this go for the end zone.